Now we're going to learn how to use the surface area or volume to find the radius of a sphere. We know that the surface area equals 4 pi r squared. So, using the surface area, we can figure out the radius. The radius will equal the square root of the surface area over 4 pi. Here's an example. The surface area equals 50.24. So we're going to plug in 50.24 so that the problem says square root of 50.24 over 4 pi. When we figure that out, it equals 2. The radius equals 2. You can also do this with volume. So since we know that volume is 4/3 pi r cubed, the equation to figure out the radius is the cube root of 3 times the volume over 4 pi. Here's our guiding example for you to try out. Find the radius if the volume equals 113.04. Here's the answer to the guided example. We're going to plug in the volume into the equation. So now it's going to be the cube root of 113.04 times 3 over 12.56. Remember to use 3.14 for pi, so 4 times 3.14 equals 12.56, so that's what it equals. Now the equation says the cube root of 339.12 or 12.56. When we figure that out, it equals the cube root of 27. The cube root of 27 equals 3, so the radius equals 3. Here we're going to look at more properties of spheres. Where the green arrows are pointing, we can see that every point on the sphere is the same distance from the center. The blue dotted line is saying that the sphere is perfectly symmetrical. Where the red arrow is pointing, it says that there are curves, there are no edges or vertices. A sphere is not a polyhedron. Polyhedrons are three-dimensional, they have flat faces and have straight edges. Compare a sphere to a cube or rectangular prism. Cubes and rectangular prisms are polyhedrons, but spheres are not because they do not have those properties.
Okay, so now since we've gone over surface area and volume and a bunch of other properties of spheres, you have to try these problems on your own. The first one is saying that the radius of that ball in the picture is 5 centimeters. So you have to find the surface area. Remember that the formula of surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. And then the next problem you have to do is to do the volume of that ball that's in the image. And the radius equals 3 centimeters. And you have to remember that the formula for that is volume equals 4/3 times pi times r cubed. So I'll give you some time to do that. Okay, so now let's go over the answers. For the first one, you had to solve the surface area, and the radius of the ball was 5 centimeters. So the answer is 314 centimeters squared. Now, how you got this answer is basically by doing this. Now, basically what the work in this image is showing is the same steps that we've done. So, surface area of a sphere equals 4 pi r squared. So if you plug in the radius, which equals 5, you would get 314. Then, for the next problem, you had to find the volume. Now the volume for this... Okay, so the volume for this would have to be solved like this. First you write the formula. Then you would plug in the radius. You have to remember that we're also using 3.14 for pi. So it would be 4/3 times 3.14 times 3 to the third. And when you calculate it, it's exactly 113.04. But then you also have to remember that since it's volume and we have a unit, it would be centimeters cubed. And so your answer for the second one was volume is equal to 113.04 centimeters cubed. And remember, this was an exact answer, so do not use an approximately sign. Now, that's basically how you do surface area and volume of a sphere.
Today we learned how to find the surface area of a sphere, the volume of a sphere, how to find the radius of a sphere from either the surface area or the volume, and the properties of a sphere. This was made by Michelle Chess and Anjali Patel. We hope you had a fun time learning with us.